You are now tuned into the sounds of
Big Nate Sports Talk.
It's on all the time, anytime.
You are now tuned in to Big Nate Sports Talk, the show that is on all the time, anytime. And now, ladies and gentlemen, the next big thing, the latest up-and-coming sports journalist, your host, Nathan Snell.
Thank you, Mr. Anthony Haney, for that wonderful introduction. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It is your host, Nathan Snell of Big Nate Sports Talk Podcast. This is episode 13, season 16 of Big Nate Sports Talk Podcast. And in this episode, we are reacting to the Baltimore Ravens 53-man roster for the 2023 season. Before we get into that, there's a few things I want to say up front. Another video recorded with Maryland Terrapins football as we get ready for the University of Towson tomorrow, game one. That game is coming on at 3:30 on the Big Ten Network. The Washington Mystics play Sunday. They play the Los Angeles Sparks. That's looking like that's going to be interesting because it looks like we may not have Shakira Austin and Ariel Atkins in that game. I believe they practice tomorrow, but that's just my assumption. I doubt it. I know Shakira re-aggravated her hip, and then Ariel has a fracture, face fracture injury. So I already kind of see it coming. But other episodes will be uploaded by this weekend, Friday night, early Saturday tops. So you'll see all this before the week's over, and you got enough content going to Labor Day. The NFL preview by division. I'll have that up. Starting this weekend. I'm going to start. Brendan Potts and I, we have been trying to create a plan of probably doing a couple videos together. One, we're just going to do rankings going into this upcoming week at the W, and then MVP. And then he has an announcement he wants to make on the podcast. So me and him are communicating back and forth so we can get everything kind of straightened out as far as him coming back on the podcast. Let's get into the Baltimore Ravens 53-man roster. Not surprised. A couple things that I saw with this. Starting with our draft picks. Our fifth-round pick, Kiriu Blue Kelly, a fifth-round draft pick corner, was cut. And for some unknown reason, Eric DaCosta, I don't know what it is, but he does not thrive in the fifth round in drafting. And there's been a lot of hits and a lot of misses than hits. He struggled against all the starters in the preseason. His truly only best game was against Tampa. I feel like he could be a practice squad candidate. I feel like someone's going to pick him up. They really showed a lot of confidence in Arthur Malott because he was injured. I see them going out there and getting another corner. But like I said, the biggest concern I have going into this season is corners because particularly in the slot, they don't have a lot of depth. Particularly our Darius Washington, who most likely will be our slot corner. Probably the one thing that stood out to me the most also was on the defensive side of the ball, linebackers. They're pretty much saying that Tyus Bowser will be out probably the first 4 weeks, 5 weeks. Not surprised with that. Malik Ham made the team, and Travis Robinson, no problem. This is where I need Owe and Ojabo. They need to step it up. David Ojabo did not have a good preseason. And I don't know what's going on with that. I think Owe and Clowney are going to be just fine together. Other than that, Robinson and him are backups. So not surprised with that. We kept 4 defensive linemen, Madubuike, Michael Pierce, Broderick Watson, Travis Jones. Brent Urban was one of those, unfortunately, that was cut, but I expect him to be on the practice squad, or they're going to sign him. I think not having that was pretty interesting. I still have questions about this pass rush. I just feel like the Ravens really needed to address that, and I don't know what Clowney's going to get you. Yeah, Madubuike had 5.5 sacks, but I don't know. I think Travis Jones, I think he's going to have a good year, and I think Michael Pierce, him back, I think it's going to make a big difference to me in my opinion. Roquan Smith and Patrick Queen. Patrick Queen, I predict he's going to have a good year. I think he's going to make Baltimore regret not signing him. I think they should sign him, in my opinion. He definitely is going to be playing for a contract, even though I feel as though Baltimore should lock him up. I feel like he's been playing in his natural position. Malik Harrison, Trenton Simpson, and Dalshawn Phillips. Especially those Simpson and Phillips will probably be just special team guys. I know Harbaugh, particularly for linebackers, always has them work from their special teams on the way. As far as corners, like I said, Kavon Seymour was cut, and I probably see him either on the practice squad. They want to sign him because Marlon Humphrey probably won't be back until about week 3, week 4. Again, we're going to need Brandon Stevens and Rocky Sin to step up on that. But the corners, the safeties, there was no surprise there. I wasn't surprised with any of those. The only thing about the special teams on that side is, Nick Moore is out for the season. He tore his Achilles, so Tyler Ott we picked him up. So, and I believe he actually is a Pro Bowl starter, if I'm not mistaken. So they're going to be fine just there. On the offensive side of the ball, and I called it. I just didn't believe Baltimore was going to keep 4 tight ends and a fullback, and keeping Mark Andrews, Isaiah Lackley, Charlie Collier, and Patrick Ricard, I think was the right decision. The only thing is now he's going to figure out how to get those guys involved. In my personal opinion, Mark Andrews has always been Lamar Jackson's favorite target. Now, when at Georgia, Monken had 2 tight ends, I believe it was Brock Bowers and Darnell Washington. So I'm curious to see how he's going to get those guys involved in this offense for sure. Offensive line, to me, Ronnie Stanley, Morgan Moses, Patrick McCarry, Daniel Falele, John Simpson, Tyler Lindenbaum, Kevin Zeitler, Mansala, Mavai, Lau, and Ben Cleveland. To me, Ronnie Stanley is, when healthy, one of the best blindside tackles in the game. Lindenbaum, I think is good is blossoming into a potential Pro Bowl, All Pro center. Zeitler and Morgan Moses are the vets. The left guard position is something that stood out to me in this one. I was very, very surprised that Ben Cleveland made the team. I was really expecting him to be cut because he just hadn't shown me anything. I really thought the battle at left guard for pretty much all the preseason. Somebody's going to take it, but John Simpson was named the starter because Avame Lau, he struggled during preseason, and Ben Cleveland I don't see it at all. I feel like he could be a backup, but he just I don't know. I'm just disappointed. I would have seen growth at this point of the season, and at this point. And then as we get into the quarterbacks, I want to also to point this out that they were stuck with 2 quarterbacks. I was hoping they would go with 3, but Tyler Huntley did enough to remain the number 2 quarterback behind Lamar. Josh Johnson and Anthony Brown could be both in the practice squad, and one could be as a third backup. Keaton Mitchell, I think had a fantastic preseason, beat out Melvin Gordon. I'm not confident that they kept 4 running backs, but I understand. I'm not mad at it. And Monken's offense, running backs have to be ready. They have to be explosive, in my personal opinion. And I think that is the key for this to work. Going back to the offensive line just for a second, it was interesting that there was a center that they cut, Mustafir. I believe he's a practice squad candidate. Melvin Gordon III, I think more than likely will be back with the team, and I feel like he can make the practice squad. And Tylan Wallace, who I think had a fantastic preseason. He outbeat Sean Ryan. He beat out Tarek Black. He beat out Shamar Bridges, and even James Prochet III. And I'll sit here and I'll be the first to tell you that I was wrong. Prochet literally disappointed. I did not. I just would have hoped he had taken that step. And yeah, I wish him all the best. I'm sure he'll find his way on the NFL team. But at the end of the day, that I think what we have in terms of at wide receiver, OBJ, Rashard Bateman, Zay Flowers, Nelson Aguilar, Devin Duvernay, and Tylan Wallace, I think those guys are going to be just fine. But I do expect, because you can only have 16 practice squad players. So I'm curious to know some of those guys that they did cut, you'll probably see them back on the practice squad. I think probably I see Kelly being picked up by a team randomly on that waiver wire. I would like Baltimore to see what else is out there in terms of trying to get maybe another defensive lineman if possible. And that's about it. Other than that, I wasn't really truly mad at these cuts. I thought these cuts were fair, in my opinion. So now we just get ready for week 1. And I said also the biggest W for the preseason was, for the most part, everybody was healthy. No major injuries, thank God. So yeah, that's probably the biggest thing that stood out to me. Now, before we get to the final thought, let's get to the sponsor of Big Nate Sports Talk Podcast, and that is Zagnif Apparel. Ladies and gentlemen, do you want to dress like you're already famous? You can and you will with Zagnif Apparel.
The following is a presentation of Zagnif Productions, LLC.
Introducing Zagnif Apparel. Our comfortable line of leisure wear and athletic wear will have you comfortable and stylish at any occasion. Whether you're at the gym, out shopping, or just relaxing at home. Whether you're an athlete or just want to lay around the house, we've got the perfect outfit for you. Stop by our website today and pick up your favorite pieces. Zagnif Apparel. Dress like you're already famous.
You most certainly will, with a nice 15% off using my discount code BigNate of your final purchase for Zagnif Apparel. Thank you, Zagnif Apparel, for being a sponsor of Big Nate Sports Talk Podcast. Ladies and gentlemen, you can and you will dress like you're already famous. We're back, and let's get into the final thought of Big Nate Sports Talk.
Thoughts are running through my mind, so I took some time to find a minute or two to organize.
The final thought, I wanted to talk about the Baltimore Ravens in terms of their recent, over the past for a while now, they've struggled to find consistency in the 5th and 6th round. And I've read a couple articles and even some tweets on social media. And I think some of it's an overreaction, in my opinion. You know, Kerry Blue Kelly was drafted in the 5th round. Okay, and we look at the history of where Baltimore's drafted, Darren Waller, Ryan Jensen, Ben Mason, Tyler Beatty, Bradley Bozeman, Matthew Judon, Chuck Clark. I could give you names. And some of those guys turned out to be Pro Bowlers, and some of those guys turned out to be just role players. Broderick Washington was a 6th round pick. Stone was a 6th round pick. Baltimore has found diamonds in the rough, as I'll say, or I'll diamond and found a needle. It's like finding a needle in a haystack. The thing is, players, some players will exceed expectations and some will not. Now, a guy like Ben Mason, for example, he had a good preseason, but Patrick requires the guys. So obviously, he could develop into a potential fullback, because sooner or later they're probably going to move on from Patrick Ricard, in my opinion. I don't think there's any pain. I don't think we need to worry about that, because here it is. When we get to the 5th, 6th, and even the 7th round of the draft, these are guys that most likely are going to be buried at the bottom of the depth chart. They're not going to make the team, more than likely. When you look at what they had traded Sean Wade to New England, Tyler Beatty, Kerry Kelly. I mean, they were already entering, in my opinion, they were buried where playing time was minuscule. If I wanted to keep them, sure. But I think that you need vets, particularly in certain positions. When I look at corner, I need some vets that are going to hold the fort down. Yeah, Kerry Kelly may be a good corner, but when I watched him in the preseason, now put that in how he looked in the regular season against Jamar Chase, against Devontae Adams, against Amon St. Brown. I just look at like there's nothing wrong with having a couple rookies in there, but I mean there's some guys that didn't make the roster: Keaton Mitchell, Malik Ham, and they were undrafted. Some guys just do enough to make the team, but I think that there are some guys that are going to make the team, and there's some guys that are not. Hindsight's 2020. If I look back on it, look at Darren Waller. Like Darren Waller, when healthy, is a great player. Bradley Bozeman, great player. You know, it happens. So my final thought is that there's no need to panic on that. Everybody, let's take a chill pill. Eric DeCosta does a good job in drafting. Do I think he misses on some players? Absolutely. But I'm not going to panic on a 5th or 6th round pick, a 6th round draft pick at all. I'm not going to panic on that. And that's going to conclude Big Nate Sports Talk Podcast. Thank you for tuning into this episode of Big Nate Sports Talk Podcast. Please like, comment, and subscribe for all future content. I will catch you on the flip side. Peace. Stay up.
Thank you for tuning in to Big Nate Sports Talk. If you enjoyed that episode, be sure to like, subscribe, and share the next big thing, the next up-and-coming sports journalist, Big Nate Sports Talk. It's on all the time, anytime.
I want to thank you, yeah. I want to thank you. Ooh. For all the times you put up with me. Thank you. And you helped me retain my sanity. Thank you. I want to thank you. And I want to thank you. All I want to do is say thank you for everything.